This is a Glass Box Media podcast.
It was not a high quality whiskey shot either. So here's what happened.
Oh, Lord.
I got home drunk. Anthony went to go get Taco Bell. He came back with Taco Bell. I was like, yes. I had one bite of potatoes and I was like, no. And then I fell asleep on the couch. He woke me up at 5 a.m. I woke up, literally, I saw the Taco Bell bag on the coffee table and I went, oh, my cheesy gordita crunch. And I ate 2 bites of it before getting up, stumbling, definitely still drunk,
Yes.
like stumbling into bed. And then I woke up at like 9:30. And I was like, I feel like not great, but not terrible. I think maybe I was still a little bit drunk because a couple hours later, I felt fucking awful. And I was like, I think
same thing that happened to me.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I got out of the shower. First of all, I like woke up and I was like,
Oh, my mouth was so dry.
I'm here. And I like looked and I see like clothes strewn about. My ID is in one corner. My credit card's in another. So I'm like, okay, good. I got both
Check.
of those. Like my phone's over here on the nightstand. I'm like, all right, we're winning.
That's how
We're
I knew
winning.
we were back, is because I left later to go get some Chipotle and I was like, where the fuck is my debit card? And I was like, oh, we're back. Like, I
Yeah.
can't find my debit card. This is how I know that we've gone out.
We're back, baby.
Like,
Yeah, I'm just like, okay. I'm like, my ankle's bruised. Okay. My back really hurts. And then so I like stumble into the shower because I'm like, okay, all right, we got to record. And I'm like, get out of the shower. And I literally still feel like I'm like, I don't know if I can drive because I'm still too drunk to uncross my eyes.
God, no.
And I was like, this is not good. So I texted you guys. You were like, okay, yeah, let's do tomorrow. And I was like, oh, phew. Went back to sleep, woke up.
Then
Then
it
it
hit.
hit.
Yeah.
Then you
yeah.
got that hangover.
Yeah. I mean, for the listeners,
Yeah.
if you haven't picked up on it, we went out for the first time, like as a group. We sat
to a
outside
bar.
at a bar.
Outside of the bar. That's right.
And we were there for hours and things got rowdy. And I want to remind the listeners who have been longtime listeners, this used to be our standard Friday night.
Oh, yeah.
Like sometimes Friday and Saturday.
That's
we
right.
would go out multiple times
Yep.
a weekend.
That's right.
And be okay.
That's
and
right.
like it took me all day. And then when I went to sleep last night, it was a hard sleep. Like I was like out because Anthony was like, oh, maybe we should see if the Paxtons want to throw darts or something. And I was like, listen,
That's cute.
it's not like
I needed all day.
I didn't leave my bed, so so that's cute.
I was like, I would love to go over there, but I don't think I can.
Right.
I actually don't think I can.
I think it was just the exhilaration
Yeah.
of being back
I was more
at the
exhausted.
place. And yeah, it went because we got there early too.
Yeah.
We were there at like 7:30.
And we left at like 1.
Yeah.
So
it was
I did kind of, I think, the smart thing, which is I woke up, acknowledged that I didn't have a hangover, but I didn't feel great. My mouth was super parched, so I went heavy on the water, and I was like, I'm going to take some Advil just in case. And I never did go back to sleep, and so I think that's how I avoided the all day hangover. And I felt okay. Like I felt like if you guys had come over, I literally was just more or less being lazy.
Yeah.
But dude, litty titty, and when I tell you, I've been drinking. So I have really had a come to Jesus moment in my own life with myself. Yes, that night, because I was like. I've been over quarantine going back to my favorite, which has always been Jack and Coke with Jack and Cherry Coke. Right. It's my go-to bevy. I can drink them all night. I'm fine. I can have conversation. I can be fun. I am absolutely fine all the way through. All the way through. I have decided that I need to relax on the very fat inducing beverage choice. So I went to my old classic
Vodka tonic
with the lime. I don't know if it's because it looks like water that I drink them like water, but after one, I was like, I had told our friend Varid, I was like, I love you.
I was telling everybody I love them. The amount of like
immediate to love fest.
One of the last things I remember is having a long conversation about Israel.
Oh God,
Lord.
Yes, we
So
listen.
this is not.
No,
Wow.
that was pre-shot. That's why you remember.
Yes.
I remember post-shot whenever I was hugging your boyfriend and telling him like we had your boyfriend and I had a nice long conversation where we were like, you know what? I think maybe we started off on the wrong foot, but like actually, we both love Christina so much, and like.
I love that. Yeah, it was.
Lord.
We did not train properly. We've been out the game.
We weren't ready.
No. Next time
we'll take that L. And
yes, next time it will be a much slower roll.
I was just surprised at like you were saying, Cassie, like once I took Tylenol and actually got some food in me, I was starting to feel okay, but I was just surprised at how tired I was. Like I was just so tired. Like I could have slept all day. Like it's so just caution to all of you.
We didn't even work out.
Who are getting back out there. I did notice though, yesterday was supposed to be a rest day. So I was like, I'll take that W.
Nice.
I got up and I worked out this morning. I was like, let's just get it.
Okay.
Get it in. I'm sorry.
House bragging camp going. I will do it later.
So there is something that we did want to talk about.
Okay.
Keegan.
And I know nothing about this.
Yes.
I'm excited.
So pre-recording, we were getting real nice and spicy about some internet drama, right? And just talking about trolls and the internet.
Trash human
And
behavior.
I remember, I think it was on Jezebel, but there was a couple years ago when somebody had written something in basically saying like, what should I do? Because she had been married to her husband for a long time. They've been together for a long time, you know, ideal partner in every way. She's like, he's a very like kind, compassionate human being. And like, we have kids. He's a great dad, like all those things. But she went on his like work computer or something for some reason and noticed that he was logged into these like fake accounts. And when she went and like looked at,
because she's like, he's cheating for sure,
she's
right?
like, well,
of
this
course.
is
what's this?
shady.
Yeah.
So she went and like looked at it, and they were troll accounts that he had created where he was just going on posts and just trolling people. Like he was just an internet troll. Like this was like a thing that he did. Like
he just loved to spice it up.
Right. And so she was like, okay, I'm going to confront him about this because like that's big news actually. Like this, because they are living this like weird separate life where they just like to upset people. Like that's, you're getting something out of it where you want to just like make people angry and you're just being cruel for no reason online, you know? And so
like, what does that do for you? Like what kind of adrenaline, you know, dopamine thing do you get from?
Right. And I wish I
wish
I could remember what he said it was like, but it was something like that where he was just like, listen, it's like a release for me. Like in my everyday life, I'm like this person, but like it's
therapy.
Therapy. Yes.
Therapy.
And so they went to therapy together.
Good.
But he hadn't, by the time she wrote this in, like he hadn't stopped the behavior. And so she was like, what do I do? Like, what do you do if like your partner is like a good person in every way, but you find out this thing about them, which is,
I feel like it's a precursor. If he's great in every single way, but then I feel like, first of all, like I am somebody that's not even sure that the internet is a good thing for humanity in general. I don't think that we need to know everybody's opinion on everything all the time. Like,
I do agree.
Just, I think the pros are not as, I think the cons are going to come out over several years and of what the internet is. But that kind of behavior where you literally want to go to a stranger and just say the nastiest things, I feel like is such a red flag. And it's like, well, what happens, you know, if something goes wrong in their life, you know, what if that's his need, if that's his way of release, I don't think it's healthy.
and it's a cruel way to release. Like it's not,
strangers.
I mean, it's not like, okay, you go and punch a punching bag in the gym or something to get out that like
aggression
or whatever it is. It's like you are
literally
because
harmless.
I've dealt with internet trolls.
Yeah,
I think
it's harmful.
we probably have all dealt with internet trolls. And like, it is, you have to, okay, so I have a feminist account, right? Like Instagram account. And like in the beginning, I engaged a lot like with the trolls. And it was like a real problem for me. Like it was like it negatively affected my like ability to function because I would get so worked up and like so angry about like this thing and like how could this person believe like this and blah blah blah. And I had to figure it out for myself to like, okay, you need to disengage. You really don't need to like, it's not worth it. And again, half of these accounts are probably troll accounts with people who don't really have these views or beliefs at all. But to wish that, like to do that to somebody online for no other reason than like you just need validation or something is really gross.
Right?
Yeah. Really gross. I don't know what I would do if I found out that like somebody in my life was just wanting to be mean for no reason.
Yeah,
like,
for being mean's sake.
Yeah, I think for me it's probably one of the biggest deal breakers. Like I
just
don't
being mean.
just being mean.
Yeah.
Like
bullying.
Yeah.
It's bullying.
It's very bullying.
Yeah.
Oh, my
and
goodness.
it also makes me wonder, like, he's got to be so keyed up. Like, he's got to be so tightly wound.
Yeah.
Like, so it's okay. He's perfect in every way. So what is he not communicating? What is he not getting out, like, in his day-to-day life that he's so tightly wound that he feels like he has to
release it in this way?
Yeah.
I mean, definitely therapy. Like, therapy needs to happen because you got to get to the bottom, the root cause of what makes you that kind of person, that makes you hateful deep down.
Yeah.
Because yes, you may not be hateful to the people that you love or around you, but that comes from a very hateful, angry place. And, you know, whether it's past child trauma or, you know, just trauma from being bullied in school, whatever it is, a lot of people hold on to things that they don't even realize they're holding on to.
Right.
The guilt
You know?
I would feel being cruel to people, even if in the moment you felt some kind of like catharsis or something doing it, like later on, the shame spiral I would go into for being mean.
It makes me think of Chrissy Teigen.
Oh God, that situation, horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. Have you heard about this, Cass?
I know that she went off of Twitter for a while and then she was back. I don't know anything.
A bunch of her past tweets resurfaced where she was just like telling other women like kill yourself. It was calling them whores.
Well, and it was Courtney
stuff.
Stodden, which makes it even worse because Courtney Stodden, if you remember, she was married to Doug Hutchinson, I think is his name. He was in like The Green Mile and he was an actor in the 90s. But she married him when she was 16 and he was in his 50s.
Ooh.
Her parents had to sign this thing to allow them to get married.
Yeah, no, that's fucking horrible.
And people were, I remember it because it was like mid 2000s. We had a very slut shamey culture, and like people were
went after
on
Courtney.
her?
Yes.
to her, to
She's
her,
a clear victim.
right?
This
But
is
at
the
the
same-
time, it was like this was a woman who, a girl,
Woman
who
right.
dressed like she dressed provocatively, and she had big breast implants, and people basically were like, she's asking for it. Is basically that was the
Yeah.
And at that time, so when she was like 16, 17. Not only did Chrissy Teigen didn't just tweet about it. This is worse in my opinion. She went in her DMs. She was privately messaging her. I hope you kill yourself.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Terrible. Like, which is
Why
worse.
is this just coming out now?
Because Courtney Stodden released it. Like, she
But
was like,
why now? Like,
I don't know.
Why not? I mean, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think
Wow.
I don't understand why people feel the need to be so ugly online because I really don't feel like Chrissy Teigen would go up to her
No,
to her
no.
face
Hell
and
no.
say something like that.
No.
And I feel like internet trolls are the same way.
Yes,
It's
100.
like
100%.
would you go up to your neighbor and say this kind of nasty behavior?
Yeah.
Like, why do you think that the internet provides some sort of
Anonymity.
It's
It's because of anonymity. It's because, I mean, it's the same reason why trolls create troll accounts. Like, they create
right.
these shadow accounts because they
They
don't
don't
want
wanna
to
be tracked.
operate as
they
themselves.
know deep down,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
what they're doing is wrong.
It's shameful.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why they wouldn't do it under their own name.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
the reason I was asking about like why now, I just wondered if like something had happened recently that brought this to the surface.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, Courtney Stodden's not the only one that's come up.
Oh,
There's like
shit.
Farrah Abraham also came
I didn't
out
see that, but I mean,
with stuff. But yeah, it's just like,
Wow.
yeah, it's nuts.
Dude.
Not good. Moral of the story is don't be a
nice.
troll.
Yeah.
Be nice.
just don't be a dick. I feel like that's just kind of like life advice
Oof.
in general. Just don't be a dick. Okay?
I mean, if
It's
people
like,
followed that, we wouldn't really have a podcast.
yes,
Well,
true,
yeah.
true.
But seriously, like it's
Yeah.
It costs nothing for you to just like be as kind as possible.
Right.
Like life is hard for everybody.
If everybody was nice and trolls didn't exist, we wouldn't have that great T-shirt that we have now.
Oh, you're right.
Dr. TJ Fossil wouldn't exist. Like, there's no reason. Like, if you don't like something, I just don't understand the I've literally never in my life like written a bad review about someone, person, thing, place, because I think it's, you know, things happen, right? Like, oh, I had a bad experience at a restaurant. I mean, did you set me on fire? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, if something,
The only exception being blatantly racist,
Of course,
bigoted,
okay, right, of
homophobic
course.
behavior.
Right.
There
Sure.
was this,
but I just don't see why, like, if you just don't like something, you wouldn't just go, like, who cares?
right, just move on. I've
Move
listened
on.
to lots of podcasts that I'm like, not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
It might be good for someone else.
Sure.
right.
But either, you know, even if it is
I
something
definitely
as
don't think my opinion is that important.
Thank you.
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's people thinking that anyone
Yeah.
cares about Mary's opinion about the local Applebee's. No one
No one gives
cares.
a shit, Mary.
No one cares.
Nobody cares.
And when
that
people
you
write
love their
reviews-
appetizers, but your waitress, you didn't like her. Like, who gives a shit,
right,
Mary?
right. And when people write reviews for chain restaurants, that makes me
Okay.
laugh even
I
harder
know.
because I'm just like, it's a
Con-
franchise. Like,
Right.
you're like, my experience at this specific Applebee's was subpar. And you're like,
Like, okay.
Oh,
Well,
okay. Well, better luck next time, I guess.
yes. Well,
Jesus.
this is My Worst Date podcast. I'm Christina.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Cassie.
And
I don't know why I was saying my name. It was like very.
No, I like it. You're mixing it up. It's good.
I think I might still be drunk from 2 days ago.
yeah. Well, who should we fuck, marry, kill this week?
Oh man, I feel like when we were drunk, we had a really great idea. Like came up, and then now I definitely don't remember
Dude,
it.
asking for specifics from that night,
No.
not going to get it. It was just a vague general sense of
Yeah,
things.
you're
is
all never gonna get it. Never gonna get it.
Oh man, I don't know. And you know what? In my recovery haze yesterday, I had a really good idea. I was like, it's not tied to anything. I just really want to throw this. Oh, it was because somebody posted something about Andre 3000,
Yes.
and I'm like, I don't know how we get him into a fuck, marry, kill, but we need to. Like that was my thought process.
I mean, famous rappers.
Yeah, Atlanta rappers.
sure.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, because you could technically do Big Boy. You could do
Mm-hmm.
Luda.
Oh,
Mm.
Luda.
You know, I love me some Luda.
I know. I'd marry him. He seems
Yeah.
like fun.
He seems like a good
But
time.
then when we went to a show, I was like, "Oh man, your shit was so problematic."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
problematic.
But you know what? A lot of it, like I was
I got
listening to
hosed.
Ja Rule,
Yes,
and I was like, oh
Oh
no.
no. That's the concert I went to though. It was Ja Rule,
Wah, wah, wah,
Ashanti. Oh dude. So much. Wah, 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 wah.
Amazing.
So much. It was Ja Rule, Ashanti, Ludacris, not Lil Kim. Oh yeah, Lil Kim.
Oh, amazing.
Oh dude, it was
But the lyrics
it was a
though,
lot.
if you listen to, I was listening
It
to
was
Ja
a lot.
Rule and I was like, and it made me think about people's reaction to like Call Me by Your Name, Montero, and
Yeah.
like WAP, and I was just like, this is
Oh,
the
honey.
shit I was singing at like
Honey.
8 years old,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like full chest out,
Yeah.
like, and it's
Yeah. What's that? Like, he ain't talking about me.
That's right. That's right. You ain't talking about me.
Yeah.
We also have CeeLo Green, which I don't think we should do.
Oof, no.
That's
No.
a woof. But we can also
Is-
do Big Boy.
Is
I mean,
Nelly from
Nelly is
Atlanta?
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
you
Oh,
can find
okay.
me
Yeah.
at St. Louis.
Thank you.
Yeah. But we could do Big Boy because Big Boy is also obviously from
Atlanta.
And I love Big Boy.
we obviously
some
can't
Big
do
Boy did it.
Ti.
People from Atlanta.
What is Run the Jewels?
Killer Mike?
Yeah, isn't Killer Mike from LA? Atlanta?
I do not
I
know.
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover. Childish Gambino.
I did not know Childish Gambino was from Atlanta.
Yeah, he has the
The
show Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dur.
Childish Gambino.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Andre 3000. and
Ludacris.
Luda. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh no, I know what I'm doing.
All right,
I know
you
what
go
I'm doing.
first.
Yes, 100. I know what I'm doing.
yeah.
I've grown up. I'm an adult now, and I'm gonna make an adult choice. And
Okay.
that choice is I am marrying Childish Gambino.
Uh-huh.
He is. Oh, I love him. Love you.
Mm-hmm.
Love you. Love you. Love you. Love you. Love you.
Hot.
Love you. Hot. Smart. Like. I just want to sit and have tea and conversations.
Oh, yeah.
And drink coffee in the morning and just wake up and just talk to me. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to have all your knowledge in my brain.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we would have such deep conversations.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to fuck Ludacris. Or no, I'm going to fuck Andre.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be wild. Now, he's got a lot of shit to say too, but it's not the kind of conversations I want to have. I feel like those are more Christina conversations. Aliens. It's going to be like, is time a flat circle?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
It's going to be those kinds of things. And I, as much as I appreciate somebody.
Didn't he have a kid with Erykah Badu?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, I don't have that Erykah Badu energy.
Yeah. Well, you can always pick up a scented candle.
I could.
Channel her. Yeah.
But I couldn't. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like this is something Christina can handle that I cannot. And as much as I loved, I mean, I'm telling you, when I tell you my like full on like early 20s post high school crush was fucking Ludacris. Like, ooh,
He's just fun.
He's so hot.
Yeah. He just seems so
Oh,
fun.
and he's so hot. God bless America.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, when I saw him live in concert, I had like a real moment of like, oh, today in this day and age.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But that's
Oh.
his entire catalog.
Oh, I know.
There is
Yeah.
no. I mean,
Oh, no, I
you
know.
can't just get rid
That's
of
why
the
he had to
problematic ones.
transition into Fast and Furious.
Listen,
Yeah, he's like,
listen.
just get this movie money now.
Yeah.
Yeah, very smart of him. When I tell you, I feel like that dude in Office Space when he's like jamming like NWA or whatever. Like, that's how I feel about listening to Ludacris now.
Rolls up the window.
Just and turn that puppy down a little bit. I don't want nobody knowing I'm listening to area codes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, for me, I'm gonna mix it up.
Okay.
Because I think I'm going to marry Ludacris.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. You moved him into that movie, and I forgot.
He's got that movie money.
Yep.
He seems like he doesn't take things too seriously. We
It's
can
true.
talk about, like, I want to see growth between what he was rapping about
I
and where
should
he is
hope
right
so.
now.
I would like to think
You know?
he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's an attractive, really fun guy. So I'm gonna marry him.
I bet he is funny.
I think so.
I bet he's funny. God bless it.
Fuck Donald Glover.
Yeah.
Because I think he's super, super attractive. He is very, very smart, but I don't think I could be married to him.
Oh, really?
Like, I think that he is a genius.
Yeah.
And he's involved in so many different projects. And I just, for me,
He's married to his art and his work.
correct. Yeah. My dad told me when I visited him in Ohio, he said, I always wanted you to end up with somebody that loves you more than you love them.
Oh.
And I was like, something about that like hit hard. I was like,
Yeah.
I kind of do need that. I need,
You do.
yeah.
100%.
So I was like, okay. And I don't think Donald Glover would love me more.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with
Know
Ludacris.
thyself.
And I'm going to have to kill Andre 3000.
Wow.
Specifically because he's very rude to servers.
Oh, wait. You didn't tell me this beforehand. I feel like I'm just now getting
Are you serious?
backward knowledge.
Super rude.
Okay, I got to change some shit up. That changes shit up for me.
Oh, you
I'm
guys.
still marrying Childish Gambino. I don't care.
You're ruining my
I'm-
life.
No. I have to. That can't. You know I don't play with that.
Yeah.
Deal breaker.
Yeah.
Full deal breaker.
That was for me too. It was very disappointing. It was when
Wow.
they were supposed to be playing Coachella. This was a few years ago. Obviously, I was still on the floor. But yeah, they no.
Wow.
No.
They came into your.
Yep. No.
Okay. Well,
Wow.
I'm gonna tell you what I was gonna do, and then I'll
Oof.
with that information.
know.
That changed things for me.
It did change
really
things.
changed
I
things.
remember doing a Cosmo quiz, Cosmo Girl quiz,
Yeah.
whenever I was in
So it's facts.
in middle
Based in
school,
science.
right?
based
Sure.
on science.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Where it was like, who's your celebrity boyfriend? And I did it and it came back Andre 3000.
Yeah.
And I think Andre 3000 is so hot.
Oh, yeah.
And like so talented.
Yeah.
And like so like
Odd
just
and unique.
odd and interesting. And I was going to marry him, not going to lie. Because I was just like, I feel like this is going to be a wild ride. Right?
Oh, it would have been.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, Erykah Badu being your like,
Your
co-parent.
Yeah.
Like, oh, great. You
Yeah.
know, this is going to be great. This is going to be weird vibes that smell like sandalwood and
And patchouli. Full on.
yeah, she's
Patchouli.
going to help me wrap my hair up and turn
Oh,
me into
yeah.
a beautiful bohemian goddess. And
Yeah.
I was into that vibe. But as you both, you know, feel the same way, it is a deal breaker for me. I can't be with somebody who is rude to wait staff, and I'm very surprised.
I am
that
too.
that
I am
Andre
too.
3000
Really shocked.
would
I
be
am
that
too.
kind of person. So because of that, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to kill
Gots
him.
to
Which
go.
it's
I
kind
know.
of just ruined.
Yeah.
The
You didn't have to
situation
say
for
it
me.
out loud. You could have just been like, I pass.
I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna pass.
He wouldn't make eye contact, and he would like order through somebody else that would give
Oh,
his
no,
order.
no.
Yeah. That's
Oh, I don't like
Like,
that.
that's really weird.
I know.
But also, is it like also like maybe anxiety?
I don't know, but I mean, like we would have like Stevie Wonder come in and be like an absolute treasure.
Sure.
And I'm like, Stevie Wonder was the kind of like we had a bunch of famous people that came in,
Sorry.
but like it literally like stop. All conversations everywhere would stop, and he was always so gracious, shaking
Yeah.
people's hands and everything like that. And
It came
was
up at a
just like,
different time too. And I don't know, like anxiety is such a thief of things. You know what I mean? Like having personally dealt with anxiety myself, not like maybe to an extreme level, but I know even sometimes my son, like I see him in situations in public and I'm like, that is so fucking awkward. And I feel like I want to step in and save him. But I know that he's like, I know what he deals with. His anxiety is a little worse than mine. I know that he says things that are really awkward. Sometimes when he was younger, he wouldn't have made eye contact with you. He definitely would have ordered his food through me, probably. Like I just know how crippling anxiety can be. And I'm not saying that's what it is. Maybe he is just a
good
fucking
point.
asshole. But
That is a good point. I should have thought about that or considered it.
But I wonder too, like, do you have an extra layer of anxiety? You're sitting in fucking West Hollywood. Your level of fame is very high. You probably have all eyes on you, feel very insecure in some ways.
I do wonder.
I just don't know. And I'm not, maybe I'm being wrong. Maybe
No,
I'm speaking out of turn.
I love
I'm
it.
going to stick with my answer till I know otherwise. But I do think that is an interesting thing to bring up as well, because Outkast did break up. They don't really make music anymore. I do wonder if maybe he doesn't really seek out a lot of other projects.
Yeah.
So I
But
do
Big
wonder.
Boy does. Big
Yeah.
Boy does a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I do wonder. Like maybe the level of
And
fame was something that he
we
couldn't
talked
cope
about.
with.
We did talk about at the beginning of this episode internet trolls.
Oh, sure.
Or what
Yeah.
have you?
And
Like
in real life trolls and
Yeah,
sure.
the attention of like, you know, everyone thinking that you're like the hottest thing ever as well, which
or blaming you for the breakup of Outkast.
Yeah.
And like
Right.
coming up in your face, like trying to say your business. All right. Okay.
I'm just saying,
I will
I
just
don't
say
know.
I will put it out there with a grain of salt, and it didn't just happen to me. So
Yeah, no, I believe you.
Yes.
I not to dismiss what
Yeah.
you've said.
Yeah.
It surprises me, but I also, and again, I'm not going to make excuses. Maybe he is just a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There are-
we
yeah.
literally don't know these people, Dr.
Yes.
TJ Fossil. We don't.
And
We're
the only
making
person
full
who's had-
wild speculation
who's had any actual in-person
experience.
is
Is
Christina.
Christina, right.
So I'm going to stick with my
Sure.
current answer till I know otherwise.
Yeah.
Once I meet Andre, I will report
That's
back.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Maybe he's really very kind and sweet one-on-one. Maybe he was having a day. We don't know.
Yeah.
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 Wild speculation. Here we go.
Okay. But we're going to set Andre to the side for now.
We're going to swipe left for now.
For now. And okay. This is very hard for me.
Okay.
But I
have
think
a feeling. You gotta do the right thing, girl.
I'm always the one who like wants to like marry the guy who does the cookout, which is going to be Luda. Luda's going to have the house.
Yeah, but you got that
with
Justice
the cookout
Warrior energy.
But I can't. One of our very first like fuck, marry, kills on this show was like our crushes, right? And he was mine. Like I was like, he's my Donald Glover is my like celebrity crush, right?
Yeah.
And I will say also, listening to some old Childish Gambino, he had some lyrics that I'm like, side-eyed a little bit too. So I want to acknowledge
I can
that.
see you and Donald Glover like getting into projects together. Yes.
Yeah, if we can maybe like channel the energy so that we can like be together. So
be
he's
a very
not just
active life. Where I think with like you said with Luda, it's going to be
kick your legs up, hang by the pool, which sounds great.
Yeah,
not gonna lie. Yeah, you're gonna have Vin Diesel over.
Yeah,
right. You're gonna have a cookout.
I am
sounds
that.
Freaking great.
We're there, fine.
But I do think I'm gonna marry Donald Glover. I'm gonna fuck Ludacris, and that's. I bet you Ludacris is.
Yeah, I bet so too.
Yeah,
I bet it's fun.
Yeah,
he gives me good energy.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, you guys want to take 5 and come back with stories?
Yep.
Yes. And we're back. All right, Christina.
Okay, I'm gonna start this off. I found this one on Reddit, and the question was something like, so it does have a happy ending.
Okay.
But it's like, what did you do on a date with your future spouse that may have like you're shocked that you got to marry this person because they should have dumped you.
I love it. I love these stories.
Okay. So this person says, not me, but my next door neighbor's story. I didn't know their story until one day another friend told me what happened and she confirmed it.
Oh my God.
She was at a party and caught him looking at her every now and then. She kind of liked him, so she decided to make the first move. She took a few shots for courage.
Oh no.
And went in.
Oh no.
As time passed by, she continued to drink while talking to him and got pissed drunk, like not being able to walk drunk.
Oh no.
He was the type of guy that didn't drink that much at all and presumed that she can drink a lot. But when she stood up from the couch after a few hours, the alcohol swept her to the ground.
Oh no.
So as a gentleman, he offered to carry her home. Note, this is when everyone was late teens, no car, no money. So he started to piggyback her home.
Oh no.
And it was like a 30 to 45 minute
Honey.
walk.
Oh no.
Like normal sober walk.
Oh no.
He managed to carry her on his back, and he was about 500 meters from her home and stopped to take a break for a moment because his back hurt him. So he's going to try to carry her in his arms. A few steps away, and he notices a very unpleasant smell.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Since he isn't from our part of the country and it's a very rural area.
Oh no.
He asked, barely conscious, her, what is that fucking smell?
Oh no. Oh no.
She just mumbled, I shat my pants.
Oh, oh no.
And then proceeded to pass out in his arms.
Oh no.
All poopy and everything.
Oh no. Is his back poopy? Because she was piggybacking back there. Oh God.
So what does this guy do? He brings her home, lies her on the floor since he's afraid of messing up her bed or couch, and left. But a few minutes, he comes back, wakes her up, and asks, would she mind if he helped her shower since she can't sleep all shat up? Mostly because it's not hygienic.
Right.
She agreed, and after he bathed her, she asked him to sleep in her bed in case she needed him.
Oh my
So one time I asked the guy, how the fuck did he get over that? He said they clicked at the first glance.
Amazing.
And he just felt the need to take care of her because he took responsibility to bring her home all right.
Honey.
Oh my God.
He laid beside her until she fell asleep, then watched TV until she woke up. And they were inseparable since then.
Oh my
Since
God.
that first date, I have never seen them apart. It's been almost 15 years since then, and they just recently had a beautiful little daughter.
Oh my God. That is so cute and shitty.
I shot myself. It's like,
Oh
it's
no.
been carried in her arms. He's like, I will make it home.
I will. He's like officer and a gentleman. And we will make it.
Okay.
Uh-oh. I don't like your face. I'm nervous.
No, I'll explain at the end. Well,
Okay.
you'll know. You'll know
Okay.
why my face looks like this at the end.
Ooh,
Okay.
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 Is there a trigger warning? Shit.
No.
Okay.
I should start this story off by saying that I was a really awkward kid. I shot up tall at a young age and was super skinny and gangly. I was pretty much the textbook definition of 90s nerd. Think glasses, braces, zits. I thought playing the tuba in the high school marching band made me not like the other girls.
I love her.
Yes.
So much.
She's like, not like the other girls. I played tuba.
Boom, 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 boom.
I wish I knew how to play the tuba.
love
That's
her.
the coolest thing.
love her.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Fast forward a few years post high school, and I had blossomed. My skin had cleared up, my
Yes.
body had filled out, and my
Yes.
tuba playing days were behind me.
Mistake, but whatever.
Yeah.
I had just graduated college with my bachelor's degree and was out at a bar with some friends when I ran into a guy I went to high school with. Not just any guy either. The guy. You know the one. The
Uh-huh.
super popular, charming, funny guy that
Josh.
would have been way out of my league in school. Seriously, I thought about you, Christina. Seriously, he looked like Devin Sawa, and that was high praise at the time. Middle part bowl cut and all.
Oh, wow.
Swoon.
Swoon. Definitely wasn't into those guys, but yeah.
I mean,
That was that in high, yeah.
Did
that was
you-
my type in high school.
did you see Devin Sawa's tweet where he posted a picture of Jodie Sweetin and he said, growing up, I always thought that I would marry this girl so that we could be sweet and sour.
Oh my god!
It made me laugh so hard.
Oh.
This is the daddest of dad jokes, and it's so funny.
Oh my god, and I love
Sweet
it.
and sour. Okay,
Okay.
let's call him Chad because, well, it
Yeah.
just feels right.
Yep.
Oh,
This tracks.
uh-oh.
I recognized him right away and felt my face get hot. He introduced himself as if we had never met before, even though we had about half our classes together.
Ouch.
I was dumbstruck, not knowing what to do. I just shook his hand and introduced myself. When I said my name, it's kind of unique, he kept hold of my hand and gave me an inquisitive look. I saw the light bulb go on and he said, "Oh, you're my name from high school?" The disbelief in his voice simultaneously gave me a weird feeling of pride and made me want to hide under a rock.
I definitely
Yep.
understand that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. When I confirmed that, yes, I was she, he gave one final chuckle and said something to the effect of, "Well, it's nice to re-meet you." We spent the next hour talking, and I felt like it was something out of a teen romantic comedy. Before he and his friends left the bar, he asked for my number and asked if we could go out sometime. I had to work hard to suppress giggling like an idiot when I said yes. He called the next day and we set up a date for the following weekend. I was so nervous. I spent the whole day the day before at the mall with my roommate trying on outfits. I ended up blowing half my cash on 2 dresses I could not afford just so I could have options.
Oh.
The day
Bless
of
your
the
heart.
date came and I was nearly having a panic attack. Even though I was so excited to go out with Chad, the idea also sent me into a spiral of feelings like that same awkward girl I had been before.
Right.
How could I possibly be charming and interesting and pretty enough for this guy who was basically a god in our school to want me? Oh. My roommate tried to talk me down. She helped me get ready. She did my hair in one of those early 2000s spiky updos.
Oh,
We remember the spiky
Yes.
updo.
13 going on 30, where she got all those like
Yes. But I was still feeling a little shaky as the time for our date drew closer. Trying to calm me down and loosen me up, my roommate brought in a couple of whiskey shots.
Uh-oh.
We took them together and then had another for good measure.
Oh, no.
I'm
They-
naming this episode "Whiskey Shots."
Whiskey
just
Shots.
from
Yes.
what we talked about at the beginning. That is
They hit right away. I hadn't really eaten all day because of the nerves, so I'm already feeling a little tipsy. But the
Oh,
booze
no.
had done its job, and I was definitely feeling less nervous. Chad arrives looking amazing, and we get in his nice-ass Volvo. I noticed right away that he's one of those drivers that rides the brake, and his driving combined with the alcohol on an empty stomach was making me woozy.
Oh, that is what makes me woozy in a car. The stop, go, stop, go,
Yep.
stop, go, stop, go. That
Yeah, the
jerky.
hovering
Oh my
over
God.
the brake.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm so
Luckily,
sick.
we get to the restaurant without incident. Once there, things are going relatively well. I order a salad and a glass of wine, in parentheses. 90s shows really had me thinking this is the only acceptable meal choice for a woman on a date.
I mean,
That's
it is.
God,
where's
this
the line?
story is hitting on all levels.
Yep.
And we have a great time catching up, and I order another glass of wine. When I stand up to leave, I realize that the salad was definitely not enough of a base for everything I had drank, and I feel a little unsteady, but put on a brave face and try to push through it.
Muscle.
He wanted to take me to see a light show at the park, which sounded really sweet and romantic, but his driving certainly wasn't mixing well with the drinks I had had. It was all I could do to try and stay focused on what he was saying, but my head was starting to spin.
Oh, no.
In my head, I just kept thinking, keep it together, push it down.
Yep. Yep.
Come on, Connor. You got this. Man up.
Chad was pushing and releasing pressure on the brake the whole drive, and suddenly I couldn't hold it in anymore. I reached for the button to roll the window down, but before I could roll it down enough, I blew chunks all over it, the side of the car door, and my new fancy dress.
Oh, no.
I was mortified. I had just thrown up in the expensive car of the most popular guy in school.
Oh, no.
I didn't know what to do and just kept apologizing over and over. Chad was taken by surprise, but was actually really nice about the whole thing and just wanted to make sure I was okay. To be honest, I wasn't. I still felt sick, and now I felt tears starting to well up in my eyes from the embarrassment. Chad did his best to comfort me and then told me that his apartment was just around the corner if we wanted to go there and get cleaned up. I nodded. He helped me inside and lent me some pajama pants and a t-shirt. When I got into the bathroom, I saw myself in the mirror and just started crying. All my carefully laid plans, the dress, the hair, were for nothing. I was covered in vomit with mascara running down my cheeks.
Oh, no.
I cleaned myself as best I could and got myself together before going out to face Chad. I had fully expected to call a taxi, apologize, and leave, but when I got into his living room, I almost started crying again. He had laid a picnic blanket out on the living room floor with lots of fluffy pillows and a picnic basket full of fruit. He asked if I was okay enough to finish our date.
Oh, my God. Are they married now?
I said yes, but only if I could brush my teeth first. We sat together on the blanket, watched a movie, and talked all night. Fast forward 17 years. And Chad and I are still together. Somehow, a little nerdy girl like me bagged the hottest, sweetest guy in school. If you're wondering, yes, we did go to our high school reunion together. I drove.
Yes!
Isn't this isn't that crazy? Like, you and I did not coordinate our stories.
No.
At all. Sometimes that happens. It's so weird.
Yes.
2 success stories. 2 success.
You can, dude. You can be. That's the thing about all these stories. Like, yes, it's funny when you shit yourself. Anyways, on a date, it's extra funny. I mean, years later.
Yes, not right away. Not at the time.
Here's the thing: shit happens.
Literally,
it happens. Vomit happens. Mm-hmm. All kinds of body functions happen.
Yeah.
If you're on a date and you really like somebody, I don't think it has to ruin it, unless you're kind of,
not feeling it anyway. I mean, you'd have to. I think that's the thing. When I always say, we talk about when there is something. It's like, there's that thing that happens when you're dating somebody and you're like, there's that confusion of like, well, he didn't call me when he said he was going to call. I don't know what's going on. Mm-hmm. If you're confused, it's not right.
No message is a message for sure.
That's exactly right. And so like something like this, it wouldn't matter if he set his house on fire, if it's right, I mean, that might.
Well, does he have an
arson problem?
Yeah. A little firebug. Okay.
We can go to therapy about that. It's fine.
But no, if you connect with somebody, you connect with them. And clearly in both of these stories, these were people that they connected with to such a degree that it was like, okay, this is a one-off incident, right? Probably.
This is
most
clearly
likely,
not a pattern of behavior.
Also, do as I say, not as I do.
Sure.
But don't drink on an empty stomach.
Yeah. Honestly, like,
never going to be good.
Yeah, it's not. It's not.
Never going to end well. All right.
Shots on an empty stomach is.
Spoiler alert: mine does not have that same ending.
Okay.
All right, so this story is one I got from Reddit, and she says, once I was under the impression I was just hanging out with this guy and a group of friends until I was on my way and sent a message to all our friends that I thought were going to be invited. Turns out It was just me and him.
Ooh, surprise date.
I hate that. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
oh God.
Yeah. Especially when you're like, oh, okay, cool. All my friends will be there. This will be fun. What the fuck is happening?
Yeah, I would be very uncomfortable in that situation. That's not,
It's
I mean, you
weird.
didn't consent to being on a date,
Right?
you know?
So aside from being trapped on the date, he kept trying to make moves and asking weird stuff like, do I know what bukkake was?
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
Sir.
No.
Absolutely not. This is no. So he then dropped me off at my house, but not before singing Nicki Minaj out loud the entire drive there.
Oh,
I mean,
my
was he
God.
good?
I mean,
And
there's the
enthusiastically
question.
trying to get me to join in.
I'll let you know. Listen, Nicki Minaj is hard. As someone who's tried to do it at karaoke, I'm like, this is much more difficult than I thought it would be. So props to him if he's got it on lock.
I don't know why that is the funniest part of the story for me. Like I can just imagine this guy driving me back to my house, like just belting out Nicki Minaj, just top of lung.
I mean, also to me, what that says is this is a person who has practiced at home.
Yes.
Like you have to have. You don't just absorb that kind
Yes.
of thing. Like you were at home playing Nicki Minaj on repeat so that you could learn all
it.
the words.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So mind you, before he let me out of his car, he insisted that I press the buttons on his keys so that I could see how his keys make his windows roll up and down.
Okay.
I'm like, what are you, 12? It's your first car.
Wow.
I eventually had to say that I was about to pee myself so that he would let me out of his car and go inside.
Oh,
I
my
hate it.
God.
Isn't that horrible? Like,
You're
also,
trapped.
too, you're just so trapped in that situation where you're just like, yeah, nice. Oh, so wait, so your keys make your wow.
You know what it reminds me of? And listen, I love all of my friends' kids, my family's kids, whatever. But it reminds me of it reminds me of when little kids like are showing you the same thing like over and over, and you have to kind of be like, cool.
Oh,
That's awesome.
Anytime you hear anyone talking like that to you,
They don't care.
no,
Yeah.
they
No.
don't.
Oh,
Also, what is bukkake? Come on.
Oh, come
I'd be
on.
like, I don't know. Explain it to me.
Yes,
Explain
please.
it to me.
Explain
my
it to me.
face.
Well, it's when a bunch of guys. Never mind.
Not a first date topic, my dude. Like at all.
I hate it.
I hate it.
Ugh.
Ugh. All right. I have got a Tainted Love for you guys.
I'm so nervous.
I have many pieces of
You do.
notebook paper.
Oh, are you me?
Also, your notebook paper, did you go buy?
Like a spiral bound?
No,
notebook?
because did you and you took the margins off? It's so clean. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
it's
if I
just
write-
one with the. Like
it's just one of the regular
Spirals.
ones. You just hit it from the top.
Oh.
It tears at the top.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's nice and clean.
Because
and crisp.
mine don't look like that. If I'm writing on like it's like spare pieces of paper that have been ripped out, they have like all the
Scrappy.
ragged edges. Yours looks profesh.
Now, I have heard this story before, randomly throughout different places, but for this go round, I mainly got my information from a deadline called Ransom with Josh Mankiewicz. So I'm going to do a
familiar.
trigger.
Dateline?
A Dateline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I said deadline. I don't know why. That is a Dateline with Josh Mankiewicz called Ransom.
Okay.
And trigger warning for this, there's talk of sexual assault.
Okay.
So, but we're going to have a conversation after this.
Ooh.
Okay?
Oh, okay.
I'm going to tell you guys about the kidnapping of Quinn Grey.
Oh,
Oh, okay. I know this one. I listened to this one on the Dateline podcast, and
Yeah.
it stuck with me.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they do, and sometimes
Shit.
they don't. This one did.
Yeah. Okay. So we're talking about St. Johns County in Florida.
this story has everything.
Yes, it's
Florida.
in Florida.
Kidnapping.
Is
Florida.
very, very upscale community. Quinn and Reed Grey had newly moved in. They have two little girls, 8 years old and 6 years old. Reed was actually a very, very successful businessman. He had made his money in like healthcare kind of things. So like things are looking good. Quinn is driving around one morning in her Mercedes. She had dropped the kids off and then had gone to get her nails done and was going to get her hair done and all kinds of things. September 4th, 2009, 5 p.m. Quinn calls Reed. Reed answers the phone. She's like, listen, don't freak out, but I've been kidnapped.
Cool.
He's like, what?
Cool.
She's like, there's a note at the house which details everything. So I need you to go and read the note and deal with this. And he's like, okay. So he hangs up the phone. He's at work. He goes out to his work parking lot and is like sitting in the car because she's like, don't call the police. Just go home and read the note. And he's like, sits in the car and he thinks about it. And then he's like, 911.
Yes. Yes.
He's
yes.
like, I'm going to call.
He weighed all the options and was like, I'm not equipped to deal with this.
Yeah.
Actually.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice job, Reed.
So the SWAT team like breaks into their house and is like, go, 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 go. And they like find a note, a really long note written in Quinn's handwriting that basically is like 3 Albanian men want $50,000. Don't be a hero. Don't call the cops. Just wait for my instructions. And they're like, okay.
Things that sound 100% fake.
Well, as soon as I hear Albanian men, I'm like, this never happened.
It's like unnecessary details.
It
You know what I
is,
mean? It's just like,
100.
you can always tell when somebody's lying whenever it's just like, was that a detail that needed to be in here?
Also, how the fuck do you know that they're Albanian?
yeah.
Like, you just are like,
You're like, I got
how
a
the
vibe.
fuck would you know?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know if an Albanian if they walked across crossed
No,
my
what
path.
does-
Like, what,
yeah.
why
Why
would
would you-
is that? What are your tells?
What? Yeah, exactly. Thank
Like,
you.
I have no. Frame
They're
of
wearing the
reference.
Albanian flag on
Right.
their shirt.
and still
and
wouldn't
I
know.
still wouldn't know.
Me
I do
neither.
not know what the Albanian flag looks like. So
Neither
kudos
I.
to you if you can.
They were
my
like,
my
she won the
education
geography bee in middle school.
Exactly.
She's like, I know.
I know that's an Albanian flag
Yeah.
if I've ever seen one. So
And for some reason, all your shirts have the Albanian flag on it.
That's weird.
yeah,
I just like yes, weird detail. Unless they came in and were like, "Hey, put your hands in the air. We're Albanian."
Right.
which I hope that they did.
I hope
Yeah,
that's
I
what
hope they
happened.
did.
Got
Okay,
it. So what we're saying is this is real.
So
Yeah.
right away, like because they're rich and white, the cops are taking it super seriously.
And she's
okay?
like
That sounds
pretty
about
and
white.
blonde,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Even though like the main cop was like, it is kind of weird because like kidnappings don't happen these days.
Kinda
like
sus.
it's really difficult to get away with in any kind of
Yeah.
way. Like you really can't get away with that traditional kidnapping. So they're like, this is kind of weird, but whatever. We have to take it seriously. So they wired Reed's phone because Quinn has been contacting him. So they're like, okay, so we'll, hopefully. And this Dateline, you can hear her calls to him. They've got them all recorded. It's
Girl,
wild.
I'm pulling up my vacuum right now. I'm
Exactly.
sorry.
So she calls him again. More than 100 officers are working on this. They're like, we've got to find out where she is. She gives she's like screaming at her husband, like, get in the car with the money, and go here, go there, and gives him directions to drop it off at a Chick-fil-A. So, it's
No,
serious.
you know it's real.
Yeah.
That's how you know.
Pick you up some waffle fries while you're there.
Yeah. So she calls back because they're like, okay, great. The money drop's going down at the Chick-fil-A. All these 100 cops are like, we've got this.
And here's me with this knowledge that I have so far.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm already like, okay, Albanian men. Sure. Yes, honey, I'm on my way drawing up divorce papers because we are through what is going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so she calls back and she's like, the drop is done. Like, you fucked up. I see all these cops at this Chick-fil-A. Like, I know you want me dead to Reed. And so she texts, they go and they go back to their house and stuff. And so then she's texting Reed, I know there are cops at the house too. Like, you weren't supposed to call the cops. Like, you fucked this up. You fucked it up. And now I'm going to be dead. So they're like, the local cops are freaking out. They're like, she's on to us. She spotted us at the Chick-fil-A and at the house. So are they watching us? This is outside of our realm of handling this. So we're going to call the FBI. So now there's even more. Now, like, the FBI is involved. It's this huge, massive operation. Yeah. So they determined, because they're like, okay, well, the FBI can do a lot of things that the cops can't do. So they're like, what's her number? And they like plug it in and they're like, okay, so whatever's happening, they're actually smart. They're removing the battery in between every call. So they can't track her. They can find from pings that she's still in the area when she is on the phone, but they can't track the phone because the battery's being taken out. So
noted.
They end up that whole next day, they're like, okay, what we need to do is get a warrant to be able to track this cell phone. And so they go through it the whole day and they're like tracking this phone. They're like, holy shit, she's on the move. She's on the move. We got her. Until they realized that they had accidentally flipped 2 of the digits and they had been tracking all day the wrong phone.
Imagine, like, you know, we all make mistakes at our jobs, right?
Yeah.
Like, human error happens.
Yeah. The people you don't want to have human error be involved in are any civilian employee that's supposed to protect your life.
Yeah.
Anybody in the medical field.
Yeah.
These are people who you really don't want to have a bad day or
right. I mean,
fuck up.
also, look, anybody who's worked in data entry, copy and paste, my dude.
Yeah.
Like, don't be like, I'm going to manually enter this number in.
It's
just like, just copy and paste
Just
it. Copy and paste it.
Yep.
Leaving room for error.
So now Sunday morning, we're 36 hours in and everyone's freaking out. Like, Reed hasn't heard anything from Quinn in like over 12 hours. The FBI gets her mom to start calling and texting Quinn's phone. Like, I'm so worried about you. What's going on? I can't reach you. Leaving messages. So they're getting her mom involved. Now, her mom, lovely woman, Walmart greeter and dog breeder.
Oh, bless her heart.
Like,
and she sounds like it on the Dateline, where you're just like,
it.
you sound sweet. Like, I don't know what her name is, but I'm feeling like a Joyce. You know what I mean?
Or
Like a
Betsy.
it's pretty close. It's Gail.
Oh, Gail. Of course it's Gail.
So Gail is worried about her daughter. Her daughter's been kidnapped. She's freaking out. And now she is like the main person that is communicating with Quinn and the kidnappers. So yeah, because Quinn finally contacts her and says, don't get Reed involved. Like, no Reed. He's already like fucked up a couple of times. Like, we're going to deal with you. Go to the beach, and in the bathroom of the beach, there is a note.
The grossest place on earth.
Yeah,
I
was just like,
bathroom.
all
I
I was
smell
thinking
it.
of was
Venice
the
Beach.
Venice Beach bathrooms, and I was like, oh my
I
God.
can
So she
literally smell that from here.
makes her mom go to the bathroom. There is a note that's on the toilet paper roll that says to drop the money at Joe's Crab Shack.
What?
Man, they love.
You guys, no. Like a Chick-fil-A, a beach bathroom, and a Joe's Crab
are you
Shack.
just
Like,
hungry?
Why are
It's
you
just a
doing
lot.
this to me?
It feels like a lot.
Oh my God. So she's like, go to the Joe's Crab Shack and throw the money in the bushes. So her mom's like freaking out. She's like, I don't want to do it unless, you know, I can see you, whatever. But she's like, all right. She grabs the duffel bag, and like the FBI is like supplying the money because this is Labor Day weekend. So banks aren't even open. So the FBI gives them 10 grand, even though it's not 50 grand. They put 10K in a blue duffel bag. Mom drives by the Joe's Crab Shack and chucks it out the window into the bushes
With a tracker.
So then it's got a tracking in it.
Yeah.
You know, they're watching or whatever. They see 3 guys go into the bushes, look at the bag, kind of kick it, pick it up, take it, and get into an SUV. And they're like,
Were they wearing Albanian t-shirts? Do we know?
we don't
Asking
know.
the real
But they were
questions.
like, holy shit, we've got them. These are the 3 Albanians. So they're fucking trailing them. And the freaking, the SUVs being all weird, going through like side residential streets. And they're like, yeah, this is definitely them. They're trying to throw off a trace. Finally, the SUV pulls into a gas station and a Jacksonville police car pulls up to them. So they're like, what the fuck is going on? So FBI gets involved and goes in there. They're like, they take the guys in. They're like, what do you know about this kidnapping? Because the Jacksonville police has no idea
Where's
by this
Quinn?
point. Yeah, is in a different jurisdiction and stuff, and they've been trying to keep it under the radar, like under the news. These were 3 German guys that were just college students that were like, oh, look, there's a bag in the bushes. Wouldn't it be cool if there was money in it? And they like kicked it, found it, and was like, holy shit, there's money in it. Then had realized they'd been being followed and thought that they accidentally picked up like drug money
or something.
Yes, and were freaking out. So they called 911 and met the cop in the gas station to be like, we found all this fucking money.
What do we do?
So yeah, it's just three German tennis players, like college exchange students that were like,
they looked Albanian though.
They're from Hamburg.
They did.
And so yeah, they're like totally unrelated. So that's another lead that has followed through. So now
what are the chances, though?
I know that
it's 3 guys.
Yes, and they're foreign. It's the whole thing. So now the FBI is like, okay, Mom, you've got to get like aggressive with them when they call back.
Counting
or whatever.
on you, Gail.
Yeah, because meanwhile, like Mom has dropped off the money and then gets another call a little bit later from Quinn, who's like, "Where's the money? Where's the money?" And she's like, "What are you talking about? I dropped the money in the bushes at the Joe's Crab Shack." And she's trying to explain which bush it's in and stuff like that. And then a man gets on the phone with Quinn, and so she finally. This is the first phone call where like it's not just Quinn; they hear a man, and he's being very aggressive, and he's like, did you just hear that? I just shot my gun, and like the next time it's going to be in your daughter, and like threatening Quinn. So Mom is freaking out, and you can hear it in her voice. It's heartbreaking. She's like super, super scared. So anyways, like it goes on, and they end up like Quinn tells her mom, like, tell Reed to check his email. There's a photo proof of life in his email. And so they're
we
like,
don't need that. We're talking to you.
Exactly. Like, cool. So that photo.
Just giving more information than you needed
Again,
to. Right?
Like I'm talking to you, so we don't need proof of life. You're
got it.
Clearly alive.
You're clearly alive.
Right.
And so the photo, though, it was taken from an iPhone, which automatically generates like it geotags. So they're like, okay, well, thank you. So now we know where you're at. And so they go pretty much like 15 minutes after they got the photo, but the space is cleared out. They're gone. So they're just like, oh my God, they're so frustrated. And Mom tries to do yet another unsuccessful drop, but that's when the news gets involved. So finally, they've managed to keep this quiet from the news, which I'm like, what else is going on in this town that 150 officers are working on that this didn't come out in the news, that like rich white lady got kidnapped? You know what I mean? Was there something bigger going on in St. John's County, Florida?
Maybe.
Yeah,
right.
so
Florida.
finally, like, she's in the news, and like she texts her mom cursing her, like, and then the FBI told her mom, like, tell her that they found her SUV, and like that's how the news got involved. Like, tell her there's still no cops or whatever. But
they clearly know there's cops.
Yeah. So things are falling apart. She's been cursing her mom, not talking to Reed, and finally, like, 911 is called, and it's Quinn, and she's standing in a mall parking lot, and she's like, "I'm the one that's been kidnapped."
No.
And she's going on. She's like, "I've been tied to the chair," and blah, blah, like crying, like hysterical. The 911 operator's like, "I'm so sorry, ma'am. Like, just stay where you are. We'll come get you."
And again, on that
I don't know if you
Dateline,
could hear my eyes rolling.
I loved the way you. Oh no! Oh no!
I learned that from Beyonce.
The Dateline, you can hear all of this. Like they play like all of these calls.
Yeah, and it's audibly bad.
Yeah.
So here's where the story like sticks in my mind, is because like they rescue her, and the first thing she says, she's like, "My husband wanted me dead. My husband wanted me dead." Like, blah blah blah.
Your husband's the one who called the police in the first place,
Right.
Thank God he did too. Thank God he did right away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll get back to that.
Okay.
So she's like, "My husband wanted me dead," and they're like, "Ma'am, you've just had a very traumatic experience. Why don't you go rest for a while, and then you come in and you do a statement, when you're feeling up to it. So 2 days later, she gets some sleep. She gets some rest.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. If she's been kidnapped, wouldn't you want to get a statement? Unless maybe they weren't even believing her then,
at that point, because I'm just like, why? But
then also, then why are they not arresting her?
And even if you don't believe her at that point, someone else is involved because somebody else was on the phone call. So why would you not want to take her statement right away? Regardless of the situation, you should want to take her statement right away because if you really believe she was kidnapped,
they don't take her to the hospital.
That's also
they let
weird.
her go home. And she's at home for 2 fucking days and then waltzes into the police station.
That sounds about white.
It's a privilege right there.
And then this is where it gets fucked up. And here's where the trigger warning about sexual assault comes in. I just wanted to say, you can fast forward through it if you want. But they're like, tell us from the beginning, like everything that happened, like from the beginning. And she's like, okay, so I was like in my closet and then some guy with yellow gloves and a gun came in and basically said, this doesn't have anything to do with you. Like, we're loan sharks and your husband owes us money. Now, Reed had...
That is also how I describe myself. I'm a loan shark.
Yes. Yeah, I mean...
This is my job description. I'm a loan shark.
It's not a James Bond movie. Like, no villain comes in and there's like, here's my entire plan and all of the details you would need. Yeah, like nobody does that. Like, no one would come in and explain themselves.
I'm Albanian.
Also, and also a loan shark, and also your husband owes us money.
Like, give some time. Could you please write a 3-page letter to describe what we have just told you?
Right?
They have been talking to Reed this whole time too, because they're like, this is fishy, and she like, let's examine Reed to see if he's involved, because he spares no details. He's like, listen, the marriage is good now. We've been talking about having another kid, but we've both had affairs. And, it's been troubling, that we've definitely had to like work a bunch of stuff out. He had even Quinn's mom had been like, is this an easy way to get rid of Quinn? Like, instead of getting a divorce kind of thing? Like, she had, of course, suspicions.
Right, it's a rich guy, too. Like, he wants to protect his money. You have to look at him first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Course,
and they were like, $50,000. Their mortgage payment on their house was $25,000 a month.
Are you?
Okay.
$25,000 a month.
In Florida.
Yeah.
You imagine that fucking mansion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm like, are you Queen of Versailles? Like,
listen though, because I know what $25,000 a month will buy you in Los Angeles. Like, as far as like a rental property, thinking and so
$25,000
into mortgage.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's an enormous.
So they were like $50K. Like, why?
Also, that's a low amount.
Yeah,
very low amount compared to what he's bringing in a year. So
a loan shark is going to kidnap your wife for $50,000 when you're worth millions upon millions.
Correct. Okay. Yeah.
So the Albanians don't know our currency very well. I think
they did the math wrong in their head.
So yeah, like 2 days later, she's telling her story, and she's like, I was brainwashed because he kept saying like, that it didn't have anything to do with me, and they would just get the money and let me go. And then she says like, I just thought that if I had sex with him and I made it the best sex of his life, that he would let me go.
That's how that works.
She's like, so I did it with him, and sometimes I mean, I even enjoyed it, but yeah. And so the cops
like
listening to her talk,
I fell
and he's
asleep
like,
because that's so
never once heard a sexual assault survivor mention that they enjoyed it. You know what I mean? He's like, that was a real red flag for me.
It's too much detail. You're saying too much.
You don't need to say that.
You didn't need to say that.
And your body, okay, to be fair to victims of sexual assault, your body will do fucked up shit that you have no control over. So
Absolutely.
Just because maybe your body had a reaction to a circumstance in which you were being forced to do something does not mean that you are okay with it. It doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't negate the fact that it is sexual assault.
Correct.
So I do want to be clear on that.
And that's-
However, but if you were telling the story to someone,
It's
you're
a
not
weird
going to talk
detail
about
It's
that.
a
to
weird
throw in.
detail, and
Yes.
she's like, "We did it in every position all night long."
It's
That's a brag.
Again,
Actually, I feel like you're coming
literally
in bragging.
quote unquote every position all night long. I just wanted to make it, really
it's
good.
so weird, Cassie. This is why this story stuck out in my head when I listened to it.
It's
You did
haunting.
because the way she's talking about it is so weird, and again, it's an unnecessary.
Yeah.
It sounds braggy.
Yeah.
You actually sound like you're bragging about how good you are in bed
Yeah.
and how sexually gratifying you can be so that you can get out of, you're going to sleep your way out of the situation.
Yeah, it's
just so fucking
very
weird.
weird. It was like a weird thing, weird red flag for the investigators too, who are like, okay, well, from her story, they're able to get that they moved to a hotel. Like the first night, apparently she was tied up in a warehouse, but then they moved to a hotel, and then she mentioned him getting spicy chicken drumettes. And the way she said
That's right.
drumettes from a Publix. And that's how they're able to find
The receipt.
find the home dude.
Mm-hmm.
They like splash his face across the news.
Oh, right.
And then dude calls up 911. He's like, can I ask why my picture's in the news saying that I kidnapped some white lady? Like,
Right.
he's like, hello. So they're like, that's you, bro? Like, you want to come in? So he comes in and he's like,
Hi.
yeah, hey. So his name's Jasmine Osmanovic. He is a Bosnian auto mechanic who comes
so he's
from a-
not Albanian.
Exactly.
see.
No one in this story is an Albanian. Spoiler alert.
Got it.
But they talk to him. They're like, he comes from a good family, and at first he's trying to say like, oh, it's not me. I was with this chick named Stacy. I had a 2-night stand with her. Her name's Stacy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not me. I've never seen this Quinn Grey ever in my life. And they're like, yes, you have. Like, we have you at this Publix. We have statements from people at the inn that you guys were together, and like goes on and on and on. And he's like, well, yeah, I'm not involved in this, and I'm not guilty, and I have the evidence to prove it.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, I know it's going to be her word against mine. I know she's rich and I'm not. So I made a tape just in case. So
Receipts.
So the investigators listened to this audio recording that he had of her. Basically, they find out that she had been like on her own that first night by herself. And then they hear through the audio tape that like basically like her planning to give herself rope marks so that it would look like she had been tied up. They hear her having what sounds to be like very intimate consensual sex with this guy. They hear her talking about like, I wonder what my kids are thinking right now. Like she says that, I wonder what my kids are thinking right now.
That's so fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, you hear her talking on the tape, laughing, joking, telling him like, hey, we need to make sure our stories always match up and never deviate from the story, like that kind of thing. Basically hearing her plan this whole thing, saying stuff like, oh, like he's like, oh, I bet your husband never gets it like this. And she's like, haha, like laughing about it and stuff. So they're like, okay, police do a press conference immediately after listening that tape. And they're like, just so you know, we have placed Quinn Grey under arrest for extortion, and they arrest Jasmine Osmanovic for the same, basically trying to extort Reed out of $50K.
Well, and
$50,000.
also, like, how much money did they put into this police investigation? You brought in the
Yes.
FBI.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's where my head went to.
Like resources.
The resources. Yes.
Come on.
Yeah, they were saying that weekend it was like over $90K that they spent.
They spent more in resources than she was trying to get from her husband. Like, okay.
So at first, like Reed and her mother, like everybody stands by her is like 100% like
No
she
way,
was
this could be
kidnapped.
true.
Like this is
Poor
a
Reed.
breach of.
Can you
of-
imagine?
Yeah, so he's standing by her. They're going on like the Today Show and shit like that, and he's like, I believe her, all this stuff, until he finally, like, and the investigators are like, my dude, take a listen. And he hears the tape. And that's when he's like, he takes the kids. Thank God. He takes those two precious babies.
Thank God they didn't have another kid. Like they were like planning on having a third kid.
I know.
Jesus.
Yeah, he takes those babies. He files for divorce. But even still, her mom is saying that like she had a problem with alcohol. She had recently come out of treatment. And her defense was saying like that she's bipolar. And for me, I felt like that was incredibly insulting. Like,
Yes,
my mother,
100%.
my mother's bipolar.
I know lots of people
And
who are
she
bipolar.
never ever ran off. Fates.
Bipolar disorder is actually pretty common. A lot
Yeah.
of people have bipolar disorder.
Right.
I know quite a few people who have bipolar disorder.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that it can't
Manifest
you can get
itself.
into a
Right,
manic
yes.
state and do things
that
like
you
this.
wouldn't normally do. However, like
But she hadn't been officially diagnosed as bipolar.
Right. So you can't just say it. You're
You
not allowed
can't
to
just say
oh, I'm
and blame it on, you know what I mean? It's unfair to people who actually do struggle with that disease. So yeah, basically she was just saying like, if I wanted $50K, I would have just taken it from the bank account. Was like her.
Then why didn't you do that?
Her whole thing. I feel like it was a Gone Girl type situation that somebody just wanted attention.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know
That's
what
exactly
I mean?
what it sounds like.
'Cause
For $50,000?
I think that her first mistake, well, she made a lot of mistakes, but her
Yes.
first mistake was if Reed had come home and read the note. I think she didn't want cops involved. She just wanted the
His
50K
attention.
and
And
his
his
attention.
Yeah.
and then she'd come back and there would be this whole
fine.
Yeah, she had this whole, it's like a total Gone Girl story. And I think that that's what stuck in my
but
mind
like
about
even
it.
worse
Yeah.
than Gone Girl almost, because it's like this, what did Reed do to you? Like that this needed to happen to him. You need to put, and there's clearly something very, very wrong with her, because not only did she do that to her husband and her children, but also her mom.
Her mother.
That's so
Like to
fucked
put
up.
your mom through something like
Her
that.
mom is sticking by, like in the Dateline, she said, like, I believe my daughter is mentally ill. And
See, this would be my mom. My mom would be like, she'd be like, I'm going to stick by you. I don't love it. I'm going to stick by you.
yeah, that's the sense I got
moms,
from
yeah.
Gail too, is that she didn't love it, but she's sticking by her.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is it seems that Quinn stopped at a gas station like a few weeks before this whole like thing, and that's how she met randomly Jasmine Osmanovich, and they started some sort of affair. But what is weird is that they scrubbed, like they looked everywhere. They could not find any sort of proof that they had been in contact with each other. There's no texts, there's no phone calls
That's so
or
bizarre.
anything like that, which is very strange. And then there is also one point on the tape where he says to her, like, well, you know, I'm going to let you go after this weekend, which is the only kind of weird thing that they're like, So all that being said, they did put both of them on trial for the extortion. They both got probation basically and time served, and have to like repay the investigation money or what have you. But she still sticks by her story to this very day.
Wait. Okay. So you stick by your story. Which story? The story that you're bipolar, the story that you're kidnapped by 3 Albanian men? Like, where are we at?
Yeah, did
like,
she
what
ever
story?
own up to the fact that like it wasn't
3
real?
Albanian men?
Yeah,
Like-
no, well, yeah, in her statement, she's like, I thought it was 3, but I guess it's just only 1.
what?
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you, ma'am?
Yeah. So,
Also,
that's-
I don't know. So often we cover stories in this Tainted Love segment where I get so upset by the outcome because it's so
Absurd.
it's absurd that like you could do this, waste this amount of resources and time from like law enforcement, put people
Because you had
through
a hissy fit
this,
and you wanted retention.
right?
Yeah.
And you get probation. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, we have people sitting in
We have
prison
people in prison
because
for
marijuana.
years because of weed. Like,
Weed.
really?
yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So if you want to be infuriated, watch this Dateline because it does. It makes me want to set my hair on fire. I'm I'm of the opinion it was all completely made up.
Yeah.
And it was
Agree.
a bid for attention.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I stand with seeing everything. And then the couple news articles and stuff that I've read too, it just doesn't add up. It's too convoluted and too made up. But yeah, that is the story of the kidnapping, in quotes, of Quinn Grey.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Thank
Well,
you
I'm speechless
for that one.
That's terrible.
Oh, gosh.
Oh man. So what have you guys been watching?
Okay, so in my hungover state yesterday, which is never like Eric even knows, like I cry a lot when I'm hungover. I just get very emotional about things. So I spent a lot of yesterday crying. But one of the things that made me cry was watching I have to look up what it's called. It's a recent documentary that's just come out
Okay.
about Sesame Street.
Stop
I think it's on HBO.
I bet you, because they have the rights to Sesame Street.
Ladies, when I tell you I fucking sobbed.
I can't feel my feelings like that
I
right now.
sobbed
Too soon.
so much because it's beautiful. First of all, Sesame Street is a fucking treasure.
Absolutely.
And it's such an incredible story of the fact that like somebody looked at television, especially programming for kids back in the day, and noticed it was all like, hey kids, tell your mom that you want Tootsie Roll. Like it was all about selling. Yeah. And she noticed that there was a gap, especially for inner city kids who were already behind their peers. Like some of them had never even seen a book until they'd entered school.
Right.
So she's like, what if we could use television to help teach children? It was like such a noble vision.
Yeah.
And
Wow. And the fact that they really introduced, I mean, like you're talking about kids who've never seen maybe cultures outside of their own.
yes.
So they really, introduced different.
Embracing differences was a huge thing on Sesame Street. Like when our friend Amy had her baby, she asked for everyone to bring books, right? Instead of cards. And Christina picked it up for me. I was like, can you find this book at the bookstore, at Book Soup? And it was it's been in circulation since like the 80s, and it's like the Sesame Street book where it's like we're all different but we're all the same. It was like a huge platform for Sesame Street to like be diverse and expose that to kids.
My favorite Sesame Street book is that there's a monster at the end of this book.
I know. Grover was like our generation's Elmo.
It was. Grover was our Elmo.
Yeah.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Because I was watching and they showed like all these beginning the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I was like, oh my God. I was singing along to like all the songs.
That is what
it
I'm
showed
watching.
the fucking typewriter. It showed like
I'm gonna cry.
Big
actually.
Bird, and it showed a bunch of like Jim Henson and Frank Oz. And
Can I also just say, in general, thank fucking God for PBS.
Yes.
Like, thank God for PBS. Like, whatever you have to do, viewers like you, donate to PBS, because it's like, for me, there were periods of time throughout my childhood where we had cable, and there were periods of time throughout my childhood when we didn't.
Never had cable.
And the amount of time I spent watching cartoons and shows and Mr. Rogers and like Sesame Street on PBS and
Nature, Nova.
I learned
Anna Green Gables.
so much. I learned so much. Even subjects I didn't like. There were like cartoons that were all about math, and I would watch those. So like it's so important for people who maybe don't have exposure to like other things or access to other things to be able to just go to channel 4 or whatever and be able to get an education.
Totally.
Yeah, it's called Street Gang: How We Got to Sesame Street.
Honey.
And it's like how it happened and like the beginning early years of it, and it is beautiful. It's a well done documentary, and I feel like for anybody that's in their 30s and 40s, it just is such a nostalgia bomb. I was full mess sobbing. Recommend it so highly. So
wow,
I'm gonna watch it.
I can't wait. I'm definitely watching that.
For me, I'm like, I have to be in just the right mindset to want to like feel my feelings, and it doesn't happen very often. So I get scared. I still haven't watched the Mr. Rogers documentary because I'm just too scared. I'm like,
I'm not ready for it.
I'm gonna cry. I'm
My
gonna
heart's
cry.
not ready. I generally the same, 100% Keegan. You and I don't I don't want to feel the feelings. I like to feel the feelings very deep down, never brought up again. And so when I started watching the show last night, which I binged almost all of, I have literally one episode left. It's Firefly Lane.
Oh,
okay.
really?
Okay, listen. There was a whole like segment in the show that like I was sobbing.
Really?
And there's been like a lot of like little tearful moments, but anyway, it is so fucking good.
I'm
It's
surprised
Katherine
by that.
Heigl and Sarah Chalk,
Okay.
who I love.
Yeah.
She's adorable, and I've always kind of been whatever about Katherine Heigl. I'd never watched what was the show she was on?
Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, wasn't into that, so like she wasn't really on my radar too much, super much anyway. So it's really good.
That's what I've heard. I've heard it's very good, actually.
It's really, really good. And it keeps you like, it kind of takes place in different, like 2003. And then you're like, and then the 60s and 70s, like when they're growing up. And so it kind of tosses back and forth, like the scenarios. So you're following this friendship from its inception, and it is so good.
Nice.
I highly recommend it. It was really, really good.
I should watch it then, because
Yeah.
people have recommended it in our Facebook group as well.
Oh, yeah.
People have brought it up. So yeah, I should definitely give that a watch. Yesterday, during my hangover state, I watched, so we have a friend, Nick Musco, I'll give him a shout out. He is a camera operator, and he was shooting a movie in Syracuse for like a couple of weeks before the pandemic hit and shut everything down.
Oh, no.
He had to come home, and then like was able to fly back and finish shooting the movie. And it's called Plan B. And was I think written and directed by Natalie Morales, who's an actress.
Yeah.
And it was really good. It was really good. So it follows like two high school girls. One of them has
yeah.
So she has like a regrettable sexual encounter, her first sexual encounter, and is afraid she might be pregnant. And so her and her friend go on this like journey to try and get the Plan B pill. And it's actually like it was really good. It's funny. It's kind of a little silly, but like the things that they touch on are really important. Like how hard it is. Yeah. Like access, like, for young women to be able to take control of their like reproductive health. And then it also touched on like cultural things and feminism. And, it was just really
I've
good.
heard good things about that
Yeah.
movie.
Great.
Actually.
It was good.
Nice.
I really enjoyed it. So give that a watch,
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I will. That sounds good.
Nice. Well, yeah, if you guys have stuff that we should watch, if you have stories, if you have a second and you can go and like and rate and review, that would be really great. But you can also go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstatepodcast.com. And we love you so much. Cheers.
This is a Glass Box Media Podcast.